Amphibia is one of my favorite shows of all time. It has great characters, great comedy, and a great story. But there's one thing about the show that was not handled in the best way: Darcy. Now, to understand what Darcy is, you're gonna need a little backstory. Marcy is one of the three girls that got transported to Amphibia because of the Calamity Box. To make a very long story short, in the season 2 finale, Marcy gets stabbed by King Andreas. She is then put in a rejuvenation tank, where she remains until the season 3 episode, Olivia and Yunnan. At the end of the episode, it is revealed Marcy is going to be the host for the core. The core is a collection of Amphibia's greatest minds, uploaded into a unified consciousness for all of eternity. In one of the most hard-to-watch scenes of the entire show, the core possesses Marcy, as Marcy lets out a blood-curdling scream. Possessed Marcy is called Dark Marcy, or Darcy for short. Darcy does not appear again until Froggy Little Christmas, where she only has 2 lines and appears for about 10 seconds. Before I go on, can we just take a second and appreciate Darcy's design? It's amazing, and also her voice is really cool. The next time Darcy appears is in The Core and the King. She really doesn't do much in this episode, and she's only on screen for about a minute and a half, but her appearance here is welcome because, like I said before, she's really cool. Now, something I want to bring up is the Amphibia series finale is basically 3 episodes. The beginning and the end, all in, and the hardest thing all make up the Amphibia series finale. I bring this up because the next time Darcy appears is in the beginning of the end. So, just to clarify, Darcy is introduced in the first half of season 3. And in her debut episode, she has 1 line of dialogue and appears for 5 seconds. Then in the Christmas episode, she has 2 lines of dialogue and she appears for 10 seconds. In The Core and the King, we finally get to see a good amount of her, but she only appears for a minute and a half. So Darcy has less than 5 minutes of screen time before the series finale. At the beginning of the end, Darcy appears for about 2 minutes. I must say, though, she is incredibly threatening in this episode, and Sasha and Anne meeting Darcy for the first time is an amazing scene. All in is Darcy's last appearance, where she probably has the most amount of screen time she has in an episode. In total, Darcy probably has around 8 minutes of screen time throughout the entire series. Before I get into why that's so bad, let me recap what happens to Darcy in All In. Darcy cuts off Grimes' arm and severely injures Sasha's back. I'm very glad Darcy did those things because it shows how she's actually malicious. Although I have to say, Grimes and Sasha's injuries never being mentioned after they happen does kind of take away from it. At the end of the episode, Sasha severs the connection between Marcy and the Core, killing Darcy and saving Marcy. Now, let's look at all of Darcy's strengths as a villain. She has an amazing design, super cool voice, willing to get shit done, knows how to fight, and has no problem cutting off an arm or two. This makes Darcy sound like an amazing villain, but she has one fatal flaw: her screen time. Darcy has less than 10 minutes of screen time throughout the entire series. More than half of Darcy's screen time comes from the beginning of the end and All In. But like I said before, those are all parts of the series finale. So before the series finale, Darcy has about 2 minutes of screen time. And after the series finale, she has around 8 to 9. There is so much they could have done with Darcy. Darcy meeting Sasha and Anne for the first time in this amazing scene. But I can't be the only one that thinks we should have gotten more of that. We really only see Darcy interact with King Andreas, Sasha, Anne, and I guess Grimes. Actually, now that I think about it, Darcy only interacts with Grimes once. And she also interacts with Anne once. Darcy has all the qualities to be an amazing villain, but her extreme lack of screen time ruins that. If Darcy even had like 10 minutes more of screen time, that would have been amazing. I'm not asking for a Darcy spin-off show. I'm asking that a villain gets the amount of screen time they need to live up to their potential. Darcy does not live up to her full potential. If she even had a little more screen time, I would probably call her one of my favorite Disney villains of all time. But because she has only around 10 minutes of screen time, I can't do that because it would just feel wrong. Sasha and Anne finding out one of their friends is possessed and trying to kill them is an amazing idea. And what they do give Darcy is amazing. But it's just not enough. There is so much more they could have done with Darcy that they just didn't. And because of that, that is why I believe Darcy is the pinnacle of missed potential.